Hey gamers, it's Grind This Game here with a hopefully quick guide to the Ice Storm expedition quest. It's pretty easy if you get prepared, but I'll kind of go over what you want to bring for sure and things that you might want to bring optionally. So here's the required stuff: fur armor or the carbon armor that you get from the reward from the workshop. You got to stay warm on this quest. The temperature drops a lot. There's snowstorms and stuff. You'll want a campfire. 2 is better. You can actually have 2 campfires running. It'll warm you up quite a bit. You probably want some food. I usually bring about a stack of meat just in case. And also berries are so easy to get, so it's good to get the food bonus between those 2. You might want to get a 3rd food as well for the super bonus. You also want the device parts. One of them we'll get into, but you collect in the Forest Biome. And then the other 2 you collect in the Ice Biome. And then you want some basic tools like a pick, a knife, and a bow. There's only polar bears along the way, and you generally want to avoid them, so you won't be getting into a lot of combat. And then all the optional stuff, I ended up bringing most of this stuff, but you definitely don't need it. I brought the stone 1x1 hut. Pretty easy to make it. It doesn't take too long, so I ended up doing that. The optional way to do it is to hide in a crevasse, like one of those things that cuts through the ice biome. If you hide down there, you'll avoid the storm, and you can even set up the device in that crevasse. So that's another way to do it. It'll probably be a lot faster, but I wanted to bring a stone hut because that has good insulation. You'll want a bedroll in case you have to sleep through the night. You'll want some heat bandages in case you get hypothermia. They're cheap to make, just fiber and oxide. So I brought some of those. You might want some bandages in case you get into combat. A suture kit in case you get hit by a polar bear, which you generally can avoid, just sneak around them. And then a water bladder or flask. I ended up having a flask from the workshop, so I brought that. And oxygen bladder or flask. Also good to bring. Not necessary though, you can just mine oxide along the way and you can melt ice on a campfire. So you don't need to bring these things. One note about the water flask, if you got the one from the workshop. If you put it in your water slot, it'll continually make you cold because it'll be automatically drinking it every 10 seconds or so. So make sure you take it off the automatic toolbar. Just a note there. Then it won't cool you down unless it'll only cool you down when you drink it. So when you got a campfire up, then you can drink water. I set up a 1x1 wood structure with a bed just at the entrance of the ice biome, just in case I died. And then always on trips like this, you got to bring some rum, keep the belly warm, and some electric underwear for sure. So let's get into it.
Welcome down, friend. Legos unit want access to new territory, but it ain't gonna be simple. There's heavy weather, freezing temperatures, and God knows what else over there on the ice. And there's more. Group 15's got meteorological tech they want tested up there. But the last storm scattered the drop drones to hell. You need to find them, fix them, set it up somewhere safe, and run a test fire during a storm. Good news is, looks like terraforming threw the region into some kind of storm loop. I told you this one was wild. Check your map for markers, then do what you gotta do.
So I just did the basic setup here, stone pickaxe. Actually, I had a pickaxe from the workshop. And a regular axe because it needs some wood. Just the basic setup. And then I ended up settling in a cave that I set up with a workbench. And then you'll need a textiles bench, which is easy to make. We'll get into that a little bit later though. And then you're gonna have to kill quite a few animals to get the fur, to make the fur armor to keep you warm on this journey. I wouldn't recommend doing it in cloth armor or naked, because you're gonna freeze your parts off. So here we are getting the first part, which is in the forest biome. It's marked on your map, pretty easy. And then I set up in the south entrance. You can either do the north entrance or the south entrance, but I set up in O12, just down by the snow there. I set up in a cave. Now, like I said, doing stone building is optional. You can hide in a crevasse instead, but I wanted to be prepared, so I ended up making this. Smelting up some iron. Here's the textile bench that you'll need. And then the fur armor. You probably need to kill quite a few animals to get enough fur for all the armor, but it doesn't take too long if you're lucky. Wolves have quite a bit of fur, so they're probably the best way to get it if you're lucky enough to find some wolves. So here we are with the full fur setup. I also went with the backpack since I had the textile bench up. Probably not required. Probably should have put that under optional, but definitely not needed in this quest because you're not carrying a lot of weight or a lot of stuff. Heat bandages, really cheap to make. I recommend bringing a few just in case you get hypothermia. You probably won't, but you never know. And I set up a 1x1 wood hut just by the entrance with a spawn point. I think I left a campfire in there as well. Here we are, about to start our journey into the ice biome. And of course, I encounter blizzard the minute I step, or snowstorm the minute I step into the biome. I think that happens for everyone. Not 100% sure, but be prepared.
Terraforming went south. The temperature up here didn't just drop.
Yeah, I think this is going to happen for everyone, so
It's a completely different world now.
this is...
Weather never recovered. It's just one big rolling storm. Legos and Group 15 think their new tech can do something about that. But expect the unexpected, because no one's sure what the hell's happening in the Arctic yet. And that's why you're here.
Now, I don't recommend running this far into the storm like I did. Set up your hut a little bit earlier so you don't take damage from the storm. And I messed up with the building part here. But set up your little stone hut, get a fireplace or two going, get toasty warm. There's currently a bug where the snow falls through the ceiling, which is really annoying. It makes it really hard to see what you're doing, but hopefully they'll fix this by the time you do the quest. And like I said, one fireplace is good. Two's even better if you want to stay toasty warm. And if you happen to get hypothermia, you should have some heat bandages that can remove that. I like to say stay toasty warm, so I set up 2. So here we are, the storm's over. Pick up our fireplaces, tear down the building. I would do this in stealth just in case there's some polar bears running around. Now polar bears can actually end up in the forest biome leading into this biome, so you gotta be careful. Keep an eye out. And I was focused on something else here when I was running ahead, so I completely missed the polar bear right to my right there. I noticed him too late. But all I had was... I had a bow, but I ended up just wanting to try knife fighting him. Doing the dodge technique. Now I'll speed it up because it takes a while. Just gotta get the timing just right and try to get headshots. But I'm just basically moving to the left, letting him run by, letting him come back, and then doing it over and over. And he gets me when he gets me in the last one. So you can see how much health he takes off normally. And he left a deep wound, so that's when the suture kit comes in handy. But if you're more careful and smarter, you'll just avoid the polar bears completely. You can just stay away from them. If they're kind of getting in your way, you just wait a bit in stealth or at a distance, and they'll eventually walk away. Here we are closer to the second component. You can see I'm in M14. Here we are grabbing the second one. Now nothing gets triggered when you take these. There's no animal spawns.
The thing you're looking for, apparently, it's some kind of sonic device. Releases a burst of infrasonic sound, supposed to disrupt the storm cell. break it up. Settle the weather patterns up here. I'll believe it when I see it.
So once you have all 3 parts, you can just craft it in your inventory. It's under the regular crafting menu. It says assemble device. It's not super clear like that you have to craft it in your inventory, but I found a nice flat space. Notice to the right there's a polar bear sleeping. It looks dead. It's not dead. And he'll wake up when I look to the right here.
But something like that
There he
needs
goes.
shelter to function, or the storm's gonna tear it apart. Geniuses at the group reckon walls won't stop it working, so you better build some.
So yeah, be careful of sleeping polar bears. Sometimes they look like rocks, and then you get too close to them and they'll surprise you. So I found a nice flat space here, and built my 1x1 hut. Put some campfires down, because I figured putting this thing down would trigger a storm. It actually doesn't right away. But we'll put it down.
All you gotta do now is turn it on when the storm's hot. Let it charge up, and wait.
Now he says you have to do it during a storm. You don't actually have to do it during a storm. I turned it on right away and it started to get its percent completeness. But at about, I don't know, 30-40% in the way, it's a blizzard started. Snowstorm. But because I had a couple fireplaces and insulation from the building and my clothing, I stayed relatively warm in here. And then you just have to wait it out. I recommend stealth just in case there's polar bears running around outside. Here the storm is finally ending. It ended for a bit and then it came back. And then it finally ended for good. Now you don't need 2 campfires. I just brought it because I like to be warm, but before you start this though, you'll definitely want to top up your water and your oxygen. And
We're getting readings. What is that thing doing?
surprise, surprise, at the very end, right before it's done, it makes that crazy sound and it damages your building. So make sure you have a building repair tool. I should have put that on my list, but
It's clearing. How about that?
if I didn't have a building repair tool, I would have been trapped inside my building. So definitely bring that. But you probably have wood anyway for your fireplace, so. And that's pretty much it. It's actually pretty easy as long as you avoid those polar bears. It ended up taking me about 2.5 hours, but you can do it much quicker, I think. I just wanted to be over-prepared. I'd rather be over-prepared than under-prepared. So hopefully that helped you guys. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. If you enjoy these sorts of tip videos, hit that subscribe button. Always helps the channel. Trying to hit that 100k subscriber mark. Now, I just experimented trying to put stuff in my inventory here. You don't have to put anything in the dropship to finish. I was just messing around. But, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.